Hey guys, it's Nat from Nat's Numbers. I am going to be sharing with you a secret today that is a game changer in your love life, in your relationships with your children, with your friends, your family, and even at work. This is the number one reason that relationships fail according to numerology. Now listen, I've been studying relationships for about 7 years, and I've been both enchanted and conflicted about the concept of compatibility in numerology for quite some time. But I stumbled upon a principle that has changed the name of the game. And for the past 5 months, I went on a hiatus. I decided to stop writing, producing blogs and articles, and focusing on diving into my files, the thousands of charts that I've done over the past decade, interviewing couples, researching the patterns and the themes of what creates supernaturally fulfilling and thriving relationships and what ultimately destroys them. Now, this is both a personal vendetta and a professional one, okay? The professional part is my clients, my fellow magical comrades. We are creating our reality with our superpowers, and you guys are manifesting your dream job, money, health, your soulmate popping up before your eyes. Invariably, though, what happens is the magical flow, the synchronicity, the bliss is halted the moment that you run into a hero with their own set of superpowers, which, by the way, happens constantly on a day-to-day basis, right? But this is where us as co-creators of our reality, the momentum slows, and we might even backpedal. We might even experience weeks, if not months, of being out of connection and out of alignment with our magic when we're engaging in relationships. The personal vendetta for me was that I was married for 13 years, got a divorce, started dating, and then had to face the sheer terror of falling deeply in love after heartbreak and after failure. All to discover this one really, really important principle. What I found was the number one reason that relationships fail, according to numerology, is we expect that other person to be more like us. And when that doesn't work, we try to be more like them. Your superpowers in your chart are not talking simply about preferences. They're really the way that you literally see reality. So when you walk into a room with another person, with a different set of superpowers, you see that room differently. When somebody speaks a sentence, that sentence is actually read and perceived differently than the person next to you. And it's magical and it's enchanting that all of us have these different gifts and different talents. But what it means is that if you don't know or honor your own superpowers, and you don't know or honor the superpowers of that other person, you poison the sacred ground of intimacy and relationship. And what breaks my heart the most is you could have a love right at your doorstep. You could have it right underneath your roof. Your soulmate could walk right by you on the street, and you would never even know it, because compatibility is a verb. Compatibility is a conscious action where you have to translate the superpowers of the heroes around you without compromising your own. This stuff is amazing, you guys. In my own personal life, I have experienced more intimacy, more healing, more love than I ever have before in my life now that I know this information. So let me give you a couple examples of how this incredible principle works in relationships. Here's a really common one. Let's say you're in a relationship with a 4 life path partner. He takes the trash out. That week, he works an extra 10 hours, and that's his way of loving you. The 4 is practical. The 4 has the superpower of solidity and solidarity, protecting and providing. But if you're a 3 and you connect and feel loved through communication and self-expression, or maybe you're a 9 and you connect through dramatic romance, poetry, your man or your woman who's a 4 could be actively and desperately loving you and giving to you, and you wouldn't even be able to see it. Another example is how this might show up in our relationship with our children. This also applies to friendships, to coworkers, to even clients or customers. My daughter and I were driving home from her school one day, and I realized in that moment that it had been months since we really felt connected. And the sparkle in her eye was dimming. Something was up. And so I thought about this principle, this powerful, magical principle in numerology of honoring and respecting her superpowers and bringing that into play. My daughter's a 5 life path, which is all about freedom and adventure and variety and change and excitement. And I'm an 8. I'm about discipline and organization and producing results and being productive. I turn to her and I say, Cami, how about when we get home, we'll get the ping pong table out and we'll play a couple rounds. And what happened in that moment further deepened my knowing and my confidence in how transformative this work can be. For the first time in months, we bonded. It was energetic. I actually looked into her eyes and she was there, and she looked into my eyes and I was there. And it was because I basically switched the radio dial to her frequency, to her vibration. I was willing to witness her and her needs, not make them wrong, not make them trite, which can be really easy to do as an 8, because as 8s, we're all about, well, how productive is it going to be, right? Why play when we have to go get things done? We get home and we start playing. And this is where compatibility is a conscious verb. It's an action, okay? It's not just enough to know the numbers of your child or your spouse or your lover. You actually have to develop a daily practice around conversing with and honoring it. So we're playing ping pong and I'm shouting out the score. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. That's the 8 in me. I'm all about competition, influence, and winning. I start to get really frustrated because every time the ping pong ball falls out off of her side of the court, it takes her, I swear you guys, like 10 minutes to get the ping pong ball. She's petting the kitty, she's giggling and laughing as she's crawling underneath the kitchen table, bumping her head, and I'm sitting there tapping my foot going, come on, let's go. So in that moment, I am feeling that frustration. The frustration of what it's like when you meet up with somebody else's superpowers and you want to make them wrong for the way that they are, or you make yourself wrong for how serious you're being. What my daughter did in that moment will just be imprinted in my mind for life, okay? She gets back to the table with the ping pong ball and she goes, Mom, what do you think about playing a couple rounds where we don't keep score? And the 8 in me is like, oh gosh, that sounds like so not fun at all. And she said, how about we play a couple rounds where we play the ping pong ball off the table? So if it falls off into the kitchen, we run in the kitchen and we hit that ball. And in that moment, I just knew exactly what was happening. That was the 5 in her speaking, the rebel, the revolutionary, the rule breaker. This was about honoring her as a player in this game. And so for the rest of the night, we ended up playing the ball all over the place. How many times in friendships, relationships of any kind, do we make that other person wrong for their request or their desire, or we make ourselves wrong for feeling that it's somehow unnatural or uncomfortable for us? These are the incredible, magical moments of co-creation when we're in love and when we're in relationship. So, in the coming weeks, I'm going to be posting more juicy, incredible stories about connection and bonds through this relationship magic in numerology. But if you want to have a relationship magic session right now, you can schedule a session below. I'll put a link below. Maybe you want to talk with me over the phone and get some healing about a relationship from the past. Maybe you want to learn how to better relate, bond, and connect to a person that's in your life right now. I cannot wait to speak with you, and I will talk with you guys soon. I hope you have a great day ahead.